we go.
It's the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is
not merely peace in our time, but peace in all time.
I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Did you think no one was watching?
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
your mission.
Suppose we go where no man has gone before.
To reclaim the American dream,
To be given the rights of human beings, to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunities.
It's the Benjamin Dixon Show. If you're hearing his voice, you're hearing the voice of reason.
You've certainly come to the right place.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am your host, Benjamin Dixon. It is Monday. I think it's June 29th, 2015, 7:30 in the morning, 30 minutes past the hour. Let me say it like this. And wherever you're going, you're either going to work or you're dropping the kids off. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen in and join us in what we're doing here at the Benjamin Dixon Show. And whether you're listening live or you're listening at a download, I have quite a few people who download the show like every single day. So I know, I guess 7:30, I know it's bad for the West Coast. So, but hopefully we'll get some syndication over there so you can catch it at your, whatever convenient time is best for you. So it's been a tremendously busy weekend. And it's been a tremendously eventful weekend. Historic, to say the least. And, I'm just reflecting over all of the things that have happened. And to be honest with you, I just don't know where to begin. There's so many things that happened on Friday, from the Supreme Court decision to the funeral for the Honorable Reverend Clementa Pinckney, to Saturday, where there were Confederate flag protest supporters out rallying, and bright and early in the morning on Saturday, free Breonna Newsom, scaled the pole at the Capitol in South Carolina and took down the Confederate flag. That was something for the history books, ladies. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome to see. It was awesome to just see the amount of support that came, and we'll discuss that. So many other things are happening. Christians losing their mind, and let me just say out front. Well, maybe I don't know if I'll say it out front, but if you've listened to me long enough, you'll know my background. You'll know who I am and where I've come from, and unashamedly, I'm a Christian. But, I'm also a very practical person, and those two things are not mutually exclusive, even though at times it does feel like practicality and Christianity don't go hand in hand. And I think this weekend is an example of that. So, people just losing their minds over the weekend. I mean, about gay marriage. So we'll unpack that. I'll probably do an entire segment dedicated solely to that, and solely to the misinformation, the intentional misinformation that is going forth with regard to gay marriage and the impact, or really the lack of impact, that it's going to have on Christians, on anybody of any faith. Muslims, Jewish people, it's not just Christians who don't believe in homosexuality and gay marriage and all those types of things. There's other religions that don't believe in that. And there's just intentional misinformation that's going out. And I know for a fact that across pulpits yesterday, or all around the country, preachers and pastors preached against against the decision and the prophesied the oncoming, soon and coming demise of the United States of America because of gay marriage. Somebody on Twitter pointed out, and I can't remember who, it's been retweeted so many times. God's not going to destroy America because of slavery. He won't destroy America because of the extreme poverty that we see. He's not going to destroy America for our crimes across the globe. He's not going to destroy us for any of these things. He's going to destroy us for gay marriage. So We'll unpack that a little bit, but so many things happening in the news, and I'm just going to pull up a couple of notes here because it's I have to keep up. So let's start though. Other things that are happening over the weekend that's not getting much media attention are the church fires, and the FBI is investigating the church fires. This has been one of those things that is a major event that actually, 4 major events that actually is being lost in the news cycle. And a lot of people are upset about the fact that it's not getting a lot of coverage. But there are weeks where there's nothing happening. And so you get these ridiculous stories in the news. And then there are weeks where everything is happening. And we don't want to neglect these stories about all of these churches that have been burned down, and the FBI reporting that these are all done by arsonists. So this is a very these are mostly in the South. One was in Ohio, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. And then just over the weekend, there was one in Ohio. But 4 of the 5, 4 of them were predominantly Black. And the FBI is saying that they're not, as far as they could tell so far, they're not interrelated. They're not connected. But, here's the thing about them not being connected. They may not be a part of the same organization. They may not be a part of a big, massive, connected, sophisticated plot. But they're all connected in the sense that if they were set by arsonists, which they were, it's very possible, and it's most likely that they have been set in response to the Confederate flags coming down. Because you might see this as a very celebratory thing, but the truth of the matter is there's a very large population that quite frankly are disgusted with the fact that there's a overwhelming consensus for that flag to come down from Black people and white people, from all races, from all faiths, all across the board, both political parties. Everyone is saying, bring the flag down. And this is reactionary reactionary hate. This is their way of saying, F you, basically. This is what they're saying. They are going to church by church by church and burning down these churches wherever they get the opportunity. And even though the FBI is saying that they cannot tell that it's connected, well, it is connected. They're very much connected through hate. They're very much connected through racism. They're very much connected in the fact that this is, I guarantee you, as evidence comes forth, I put my money on it, that these are all reactionary. This is all reprisals. This is all just getting back at the Black community but see, that's the thing. The Confederate flag coming down is not the result of the Black community. First of all, it should never have been up. I think anyone in their reasonable mind, when they consider the history and the implications of what that flag stood for, there is no legitimate reason for that flag to wave on the capital of any state. On any state, it is the flag of treason. The Confederacy was the one existential threat to the United States of America. If there was one thing that could have destroyed and changed the entire trajectory of the United States of America, it was the Confederacy. And so for that flag to fly is beyond imagination. It's like, it just blows me away that people think that was okay. But what it was during the Reconstruction, we began to pacify the Southerners. And that's quite frankly what it was. It's the South. We satisfied the South by allowing them to hold on to the vestiges of the Confederacy. And that has become so ingrained in their hearts and in their minds that now that the flag is coming down, I mean, they are kicking a fit. Where everyone else has turned their, this is anecdotal, right? Where everyone else is turning their icons on social media into rainbow colored profile pictures. The people in the South, they're turning it into Confederate flags. So this is so ingrained in them. So this is like the ultimate insult. There were rallies over the weekend, and I wish I had the video for you, but I don't. I have the audio. The rallies over the weekend of people rallying to support the Confederate flag, and we can unpack this whole thing about whether it's heritage or hate, right? It is both. That's the thing. People try to make a distinction between heritage and hate, but it is both. It is your heritage of hate. And there's really no other way to, the best example of it is the retribution that the revenge burnings. That's what these burnings are. They are all connected because they are, quite frankly, revenge from people who are upset about the Confederate flag coming down. And they're taking it out on the Black community when in actuality, this decision to take the flag down has been across races, across political affiliation, across religion, just across the board. Everyone is saying enough's enough. It's time for this flag to come down. But who do they go after? They go after predominantly Black churches, and the media is not doing much to cover it whatsoever. And that's partially because it's been an insane weekend with regard to news. It's just been so many things that quite honestly, these church burnings have moved to the bottom of the barrel. Now it's Monday morning. Let's see what they do. We'll see. But as far as over the weekend, you had to go to social media to find out about these things. You know, it may have gotten the third or fourth or fifth spot on some news stations, but it really was not the amount of coverage. Now, here's the thing about these church burnings. The fact that they're targeting, it's a level of disrespect to target the same exact institution where the people in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, were killed and massacred. They still haven't even finished burying everyone. There's another funeral today for one of the victims. I mean, so many people died in that massacre that they're having to spread the funerals over a 2-week period. President Obama, for all intents and purposes, President Obama preached at that funeral for Reverend Clementa Pinckney on Friday afternoon. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was a great, it was a speech. A lot of people are heralding it to be a great speech, and it was cool. I listened to Obama a lot, and I know a lot about his rhetorical style, and so it was a cool speech. It was a touching speech. Let me tell you that it was a very touching speech. And all of this happening over the weekend, and then right in succession, just one after the other, churches are burning. This, my friends, is going to shape up to be one of the most eventful, or already has, and I don't know that we can take much more, and I hope that it really slows down. I hope that the summer is non-eventful from here forward, because we've had enough. We have had enough this summer alone, from the spring to the summer. We have had enough to where we don't need anything else. And so I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm like, let's just have a chill summer, because we have enough for the history books. This has been an eventful summer. It has been a summer of progress. It's been a summer of pain. It's been a summer. It's just been too much. And the sad reality of it is that, hate doesn't care. Hate does not care whether or not we've had enough. The people who are out here burning these churches, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about anything except for their hatred. They don't care about anything except for their pride. They don't care about anything except for getting their revenge. Where the rest of us in America are trying to move forward, because I don't care how you cut it. I don't care where you stand on it. Bringing that flag down is moving America forward. Keeping that flag up is keeping America in the past. It's keeping America. And who tweeted this? I have to start writing down the names of people who tweet things, but this is not my thought. Someone from Twitter. But oh no, I do remember. It was Cape Town Brown. These people and their handles. But he said, whenever we talk about slavery, people are always saying, get out of the past. That was, it was hundreds of years ago, even though it really wasn't hundreds, it was 150 years ago, but they get out of the past, leave that alone. You always want to look back and blame America for the past. But now when we talk about bringing down the Confederate flag, they were like, that's our history. We don't want to let go of our history. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you insist on us getting out of the past, then one of the things to help us get out of the past is to bring that flag down in every state, every city, anywhere that it is, put it in a museum. But because America has pretty much spoken in a very forceful manner across the board. We've said that flag is coming down. It's not coming down fast enough, but it's coming down. These people have lost their minds and they're burning churches. That's why I said hate never has enough. Hate never, anger and bitterness. A lot of people are saying, a lot of people are questioning why that family, or why those 9 families, why so many of those 9 families have offered forgiveness to that guy who did the killings. I won't say his name, but you have to understand, if you allow hate to fester inside of you, then you will become exactly like that killer. You will become exactly like these people who are burning down the churches. The only difference is you'll be doing it against them while you're killing yourself on the inside. Hatred never has enough. And that's how it can look. That's how there are people who are so filled with hate that they can look at what happened in South Carolina, in Charleston, South Carolina, and still say that's not enough. Let's burn some churches. And then on top of that, you have people who still would deny that racism even exists in America. That is the most that is the most absurd part of this entire conversation, is that in the face of a murderer who said he killed them because they were black, you have an entire organization, an entire group of people, millions of people who really don't think race was an issue in this, who are discounting race whatsoever. But turn around and now they're burning black churches. Well, no, race still is not involved. At what point the only point that race is involved with them is when President Obama said the N-word with regard to race. And because he said the N-word, giving a very poignant position on race, President Obama is a racist. Can you see how absurd this world has become? And this is the thing about it. The same exact people who are defending this Confederate flag, not categorically, right? There's always going to be I actually have a friend who's defending the Confederate flag, but she's also in favor of gay rights, right? So it's not categorical, but I would say the vast majority of people who are defending this Confederate flag are the same people who are opposing gay marriage, are the same people who are opposing equal pay for equal work. They are the same exact people. And if we don't fight this on every front, people kept saying to me all over the weekend, why are you distracted with gay marriage? Why are you so support for gay marriage? You need to pay attention to the church. But I see the churches burning. It's not, what am I, blind? I know what's going on. But can you not multitask? Can you not do more than one thing? Can you only protest and fight against one thing at a time? If that's all you can do, then you might not be as beneficial to this movement as you think, because this is a multi-front battle. That it is not just racism that is happening in America anymore. It's not just racism. Racism is merely a tool, but it's also sexism. It's also homophobia. It's also Islamophobia. It's xenophobia. And so we have all bigotry on so many different fronts, but it's coming from the same ideology, is coming from the same group. And if we don't do something about it at every front, then we will find ourselves winning a battle against racism. And then all of a sudden we have the same exact bigotry still existing on another front. Or we'll be winning the battle against homophobia, and then we turn around and there's still racism. We're not going to fix America 100%. Don't get me wrong. There will never be a utopia. There will never be a time where there's no racism and there's no homophobia. But you know what? There can be a time when that is not in power. When people who are bigots are no longer in power, because it is just such a anathema to society that we say we don't want these bigots in power. We don't even want them on our TV. You should not. I'm sorry. I am for free speech. So absolutely go and have your march, go and have your rally, go and have your meetings, have your Klan rallies, have your hate filled, do whatever you want to do. But that doesn't mean that we have to accept that into the community, into the broader American community, into the public square. We live and operate in a public square. We have our private lives, but we come and interact into the public square. And we do not, as a society, have to allow certain things into our public square that are detrimental harmful, mean-spirited, evil, and bigoted. We don't. Just for the sake of what? Tolerance? I guess I'm getting over to the group of people who say we don't have to tolerate intolerance. If you cannot come into the public square and not bring your hate and make someone else feel like they can't be in the then you don't need to be there. You have the right to be there, that's fine. But we have the power. I've seen it. We have the power as a collective community to say this is not acceptable. And that's all we've said with the Confederate flag, is that Confederate flag is no longer acceptable. Homophobia is no longer acceptable. Misogyny is no longer acceptable. And now we just have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant and make sure that we don't allow it in our public square. But here's the thing, and I did a quick video over the weekend. If you are fighting against racism, you need to realize that sexism is just its twin cousin. Twin cousin, that doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. You have to realize that homophobia is just another cousin. They are all the same type of bigotry coming from the same exact places. And I guarantee you that place, no, I don't have to guarantee you, you know exactly where that place is. And I beat around the bush sometimes because I don't want to lay all of this at the feet of conservatism, because I do know that there are some racist, misogynist, homophobic progressives out there. But I have to look at the broad mass of it, right? The bulk of it is being promulgated by entities like Fox News. Fox News denies racism even exists. They deny that sexism even exists. They deny that homophobia exists. Everything is peachy keen in the world of Fox News. And the only thing wrong in the world of Fox News, the only people under attack, according to Fox News, are Christians. Christmas is the only war. The war on Christmas is the only war that we experience. Let Bill O'Reilly tell it. It's open season on white men, because white men have it the worst in the United States of America, according to Bill O'Reilly. And that type of propaganda begins to fester in the minds of people who are dealing with hatred, so much so that they can look at the murders in South Carolina and say, that's not enough. Let's go and burn some churches down. We cannot allow this type of bigotry, this type of hatred, this type of propaganda to go unchallenged. We can't stop it, right? Because of free speech. And that's just what it is. It's going to exist, but we cannot allow it to go unchallenged. We must challenge it at every turn, and in every iteration, every version of hatred and bigotry, we must attack, and we must give a counter voice, and we must be louder. We must be more prolific. We must be a better presentation. We must be more truthful. We cannot fight lies with lies. We have to fight lies with truth. And the good news about our position is that the truth is so damning that we don't have to make up a single thing. We never have to lie on them. We never have to lie on Rush Limbaugh. We never have to lie on Bill O'Reilly. We never have to lie on a single person from the right that's propagating these lies. That is telling people like Dylan Roof. I'll say his name right there. They are feeding people like Dylan Roof all of the bitterness and hatred that they need to go out and do these types of things. And as if what he did was not enough, now we have churches burning all across the South, one in Ohio. When is hatred enough? When is hatred enough? But according to them, and we'll talk about this in the next segment, according to them, the only people under attack are not just white men, but Christians. Christianity is under attack. So when I come back, I'm going to deal with this intentional blindness, this intentional willful blindness, ignoring what the Supreme Court said, just so that we can go around, Christians, and I'll say we because I am one, but go around and cry, oh, woe is me. The world is coming to an end, and they're taking away our rights. But in order to believe that, you absolutely have to ignore what the Supreme Court said on Friday. All right, folks, we're just warming up. This is the Benjamin Dixon Show. When we come back from this break, we're going to deal with the gay marriage decision and Christians proceeding to lose their mind. And then we're going to deal with that woman, that superwoman over in South Carolina who took down the flag. Free breed. All right, folks, we'll be back after this.
When When you're ready to lose weight, why count, track, and worry over every meal? Jenny Craig makes it simple. Just walk into a neighborhood Jenny Craig Center or give us a call. You'll meet your dedicated personal consultant who helps you reach your goals. Together, you'll pick out delicious Jenny Craig foods that you'll love and design a menu that fits your life. And the best part is that you can get started losing weight right away. Don't wait any longer to take advantage of our best offer ever. Call 1-800-JENNY20 or visit jennycraig.com.
This is the sound of salmonella gyrating on your undercooked chicken. And it looks like Mom might be taking it out a little early. Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. So use a thermometer to cook each type of meat to the right temperature. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
On the next episode of Recipes for Disaster.
I'm making beef sliders for my friend Sandy. Nana taught me to always pull meat off the grill early so it's extra juicy.
Use a food thermometer to ensure ground beef is 160 degrees, or you could make people really sick. Sandy didn't think twice about the slider she ate until yoga class, when a nasty case of food poisoning turned her downward-facing dog into upward-moving lunch. Watch Recipes for Disaster at foodsafety.gov and learn the steps Maria unwittingly leaves out. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Councel.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. If you're hearing his voice, you're hearing the voice of reason.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so gay marriage is legal in all 50 states of the union. And that is good news. I tell you why that's good news. And I'm going to be debating somebody about that tonight at 7 o'clock on another radio show. I'm debating them about why gay marriage is a good thing for everybody. Even Christians that don't believe in gay marriage. I have an entire video, like 3 videos on it. So I'm not going to go over it again so much. You can find it in just go to my YouTube channel. You can find all of my positions on that. But just a brief summary of why this is a good thing for everybody. It's because the way you protect your freedoms, the way you make sure that you are always free to believe and teach and preach and live however you want to live is to make sure that everyone else is equally as free, even those people that you vehemently disagree with. I mean, the person, for instance, I'll give you the best example, and it's hard for me to say this, right? But it's true. The Klan, the Ku Klux Klan, you know, they are the antithesis of everything that I believe. Not just because I'm black, but because I believe in progress and humanity and all, you know, all those beautiful things that I really believe in. But they have the right to exist. They have the right to believe what they want to believe. They have the right to assembly. They have the right to march and protest and bring their opinion into the public square, quite frankly. And that's fine. Do that. You have the right to do that. And the reason I'm okay with them having the right to do that is because I have the same exact right to be the opposition. And so the reason this decision for gay marriage is good for everybody is because it is the expansion of rights for every American citizen. And that should make anyone who understands, here's the key thing, anyone who understands civics, anyone who understands the very basics of the United States of America, you should be happy, regardless of whether you believe in gay marriage, regardless if you're Christian, whatever. The fact that rights are being extended and expanded suggest, and not just suggest, it absolutely means that your rights are protected and expanded. So just like they have, and this is the thing about it. People like Mike Huckabee, Donnie McClurkin, all of these people who are running around swearing that the sky is falling. You can only do that if you completely ignore what the Supreme Court said. In case you don't know what they said, I have it right here. This is a direct quote from the majority opinion, and I'm going to read it. And then as soon as I'm done reading it, you're going to realize how idiotic these people really are. This is a direct quote. And quote, finally, it must be emphasized that religions and those who adhere to religious doctrines may continue to advocate with utmost sincere conviction that by divine precepts, same-sex marriage should not be condoned. The First Amendment ensures that religious organizations and persons are given proper protection as they seek to teach the principles that are so fulfilling and so central to their lives and faiths and to their own deep aspirations to continue the family structure they have long revered. I mean, how much clearer can they make it? So at the same time, they are passing down the decision that marriage is a right of every citizen, regardless of their sexual orientation. At the same time they pass down this decision, they are reaffirming everyone's First Amendment right to believe whatever they want to believe, to live however they want to live, to not just believe it, but to teach it and preach it. They reaffirmed the fact that churches don't have to change anything that they've done. And so you can only be upset about this decision if you're intentionally trying to use it to stir up homophobia, to stir up the fears. And then all over the weekend, I know this is true for you. You saw this too. All over the weekend, people just making posts. Oh, it's the world is coming to an end. Literally, like people were saying stuff like that. The world is coming to an end and Jesus is coming back soon. Well, we've been saying he's coming back for like 2,000 years. So they're saying that, we're living in the end days and this is prophesied about and the world is coming to an end. Nothing has changed. Nothing. The only thing that has changed, well, I guess I just contradicted myself. Nothing with regard to how preachers and churches can operate has changed. The only thing that has changed is the fact that preachers and churches and people of faith can no longer be an impediment to people who don't want to live according to that, or people who don't believe that, or people who just might believe it and still just have their own interpretation of that. We can no longer be an impediment to people who want to get married to the same sex because the government does not have, here's the thing, the government does not have one single legitimate reason, non-religious reason to keep gay couples from getting the rights associated with marriage. None. Bottom line, period. End of discussion. We don't have any reason to keep Adam and Steve. Right. That's what they always say in church, right? Not Adam and Eve, but Adam and Steve, or reverse that. We have no legitimate reason to keep them from getting the rights that come with marriage. Now, if you want to start this, let's go down a slippery slope on my show for a minute. If you want America to be so controlled by religious values and religious laws that we're going to keep people from getting secular rights because they don't live according to your religious beliefs, then where does it end? There's a post going around that I shared that shows a scripture from Deuteronomy saying that if you weren't a virgin when you got married, you should be stoned. Are we going to implement that? Are we going to implement all of the laws that say, are we going to withhold rights from everyone who's breaking a religious law? Because there's like 900 of them just in the Old Testament alone. The slippery slope is if we start restricting, or if we keep, because we've been doing it. Here's the thing. We've been restricting people from there was never a legitimate reason why a gay couple could not get married. That's not a religious reason. So we have been restricting people's rights, but not constitutionally. We should never have been doing that based on cultural norms, based on religious norms, things that people were comfortable with. That was never a constitutional reason. Because based on our Constitution, and this is why the decision is good for everybody, based on the Constitution, no one can have their rights restricted because of someone else's beliefs. Which means Christians, you can never have your rights restricted because of a Muslim. Everyone going around crying Sharia law. No, this decision on Friday means that no one can have their rights restricted because of someone else's beliefs. But we've been so comfortable as Christians in America. You know, you might not be a Christian, but, you know, I've been comfortable. It's been easy. It's been an easy road for me because we've had the customs and the norms that fit right in line with what we believe in the Bible, right? Ostensibly, because we never got over to the part of the Bible where we were supposed to take care of the poor, right? We never got to the part of the Bible where we were supposed to be the peacemakers, because one thing we know how to do is make war. We never got over to the good parts of the Bible. We only stayed in the stuff that we're only worried about the sexual morality of people. Our definition of sexual morality. That's the only thing. That's the only thing Christians are worried about, is what you're doing in your bedroom and who you're doing it with. And if you're not doing it the way that we say that you should do it, then you should not get any rights in America. That is how we have allowed American history to run, not based on the Constitution, but based on cultural societal norms that were Judeo-Christian. And now we're finally getting to a place where we should have been, where we're saying that, no, your version of Christianity, your version of religion, or your no religion, the atheists, nobody has the right to dictate the rights that are granted to other people. Nobody. But I guess that's not good enough, right? I guess the fact that they actually put it in the decision itself is not good enough, because, you know, let them tell it, the world is coming to an end. But here we are. You woke up and you went to your church yesterday and they preached against homosexuality like they always do. Did the Gestapo come in and get you? Did the Gestapo come and grab your preacher and arrest him? No, because nothing has changed in that regard. No one is going to stop anybody from preaching and teaching, believing and living what they want to believe, preach, teach, and live. The only thing we're stopping you from doing is trying to force someone else to live according to your moral code, because you don't have that right. And that's what is so revealing about this. People like Mike Huckabee, who is, you know, leading the charge. People like this is asinine. I don't want to use it. This idiot, Joshua Feuerstein on Facebook. I mean, I already did one impersonation. I don't have to do another one, but he's got like 4 million views on a video telling people that President Obama is starting the Christian concentration camps. Not over murder, not over poverty, not over slavery, not over racism, but over gay marriage. President Obama is starting the Hitler. This is the type of absurdity that ignorance breeds. You absolutely, and I'll be the first to admit it because I come from it and I know it and I see it. There are so many, they're good people. Let me start there. I'm going to start there. They're good, kind-hearted for the most part. They're kind-hearted people for the most part. They're loving people for the most part, but there's a level of ignorance that is so easily preyed upon by charlatans like Joshua Feuerstein and like Mike Huckabee. It's so easy to scare these people who are in churches because they live in constant fear of the end of the world. And it's so easy for a manipulative preacher to come in and say, Obama is starting the concentration camps for Christians. Get ready. Are you ready to be persecuted? The world is coming to an end. Are you ready? And that's exactly what they do in church. They just lose their minds and they come out furious. They come out just so scared and furious that in a lot of ways, some of them could become dangerous. And it's the same exact ploy. It's the same exact combination of tactics with regard to racism that they're doing with this gay marriage thing, right? They're making people fearful and they're making them angry. You do that combination enough times and you're going to get incidents like you see in South Carolina. And that's why we have to push back against this propaganda machine that not only is not only promulgated by religious institutions, but it's promulgated by media institutions. And that's why one of the reasons that and you know, people always say, well, Ben, are you no longer a Christian? I am who I am. I guarantee you this. My faith is deeper than a lot of these people who are running around scared. Running around like, oh, the world is coming to an end. Oh my God, look at that gay couple. The world is coming. It is so easy to manipulate people who are fearful and angry. And that is what is happening. I want you to understand the impetus behind this is not education. It's not to make them prepared for anything. It's not to make them prepared for the persecution. It's for likes, shares, and subscribes. That's what it's about. This Joshua Feuerstein, who has like 5 million views on this video now over the weekend, it's all about him getting speaking engagements. Mike Huckabee, it's not about winning the presidency because he's never going to win. It's about getting speaking engagements and making more money. It is a profit. Fear is one of the most profitable industries there is in the United States of America. Fear, anger, and hatred. Those are the most profitable industries. And so they take people who are raised traditionally, like me, raised traditionally, you know, if they are not skeptics, if they're not willing to question, if they're not even willing to go and read the damn decision themselves to see that nothing changed, then they are so easily manipulated to the point where now they're running around fearful that they're going to be thrown in concentration camps. Watch out. The trucks are coming. The trains are coming. You know, Obama's preparing the showers for you. And this is the mindset and mentality that is being so easily manipulated by charlatans who are just out for money. Because there's not a person. And I'll put this challenge. What did Feuerstein do? He did a $100,000 challenge. I'll do a $100,000 challenge, which I don't have. He wouldn't tell you that. He pretended like he had $100,000. But I will stop my show. I will bring it into my show if there's a single Christian who can get on here and prove to us that anything has changed with regard to their right to preach and teach whatever they believe in the Bible. There's not one. But when you're dealing with people who enjoy their fear more than rationality, when you're dealing with people who enjoy their anger more than truth, then the fact that this actual paragraph, which reaffirms their right, the fact that that is there is meaningless. They enjoy their fear too much. They enjoy hatred too much. They enjoy living and grabbing their Bibles and running into the corner of their home and shaking and, oh God, the end is coming. Oh God, just protect it. I know it's true because I know them. I know them. I come from them. I go to church every single Sunday. I see it all the time. I see it. I pray with my family every single night. So I'm just as religious as the next man. But the thing about it is that I actually think for myself. I actually take time to read for myself. I actually take time to read the Bible for myself. I don't have anyone standing over me anymore who just preaches. Oh, I have a phone call coming in. Let's see. This is unusual. I'm not used to this. Caller, what is your name and what is your comment? And let me unmute you. Are you there? All right, we'll keep you on hold until I can get your audio through. Stay there. Anyway, it's a good place to break, get off my rant. When I come back, I'll see what this caller wants, and we will be back after this break. This is the Benjamin Dixon Show. Buckle up for the ride.
You're tuned in to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Join the conversation, 857-600-0518.
Looking for the right business opportunity? Need the right product, the right marketing plan, and the absolute best training in the world? Well, look no further. The Elite Team. Every leader in time excels. They believe the key ingredients in becoming successful in life and in business are just a keystroke away. Go to www.eliteteamsite.com. That's www.eliteteamsite.com. The Elite Team has a system in place that will move you closer to achieving your goals and dreams. Visit www.eliteteamsite.com or TonyFlemingEnterprises.com today.
College is important, but it can also be expensive. College Planning Services is a group of educators, administrators, counselors, and other licensed professionals that work together to provide the necessary services, networks, and information to reach students that are serious about getting a college education. College Planning Services partners with financial institutions, corporate sponsors, and other major players in the global market to strategize in building a pool of information regarding financial aid, scholarships, and funding information to assist students in preparing to access the essential resources to build upon their path to an educational future. Learn more at collegeplanningtoday.com and let us help you start your college career.
Do you want to take your business to the next level? Ultimate Business Solutions provides the support you need to increase your customer base and sell more products and services online. Specializing in graphic arts, web development, and internet marketing, Ultimate Business Solutions creates the face of your business. If you're looking for a custom logo, dynamic website, or popping marketing material, call Ultimate Business Solutions today at 404-704-2197 or visit www.ultimatebizsolutions.com. Ultimate Business Solutions. Let us create your future.
Do you have tax issues, owe back taxes, or need tax relief? Contact L&B Tax Service today. L&B offers you over 15 years of expertise and first-class tax service for individuals, professionals, and business owners. With nationwide service, you can easily find a location near you. Contact one of our tax professionals through our website, lbtaxservice.com. That's www.lbtaxservice.com. L&B Tax Service Incorporated. Tax professionals that you can trust.
You've tuned in to the Benjamin Dixon Show.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's see if I got it right this time. Caller, what is your name and what is your comment or question?
My name is Steve. I just wanted to clarify, or not necessarily clarify something, just ask a question that you can clarify for me. I was a firefighter paramedic, and I got sick. I'm only 38, and what I do right now is I investigate some of these things that they're saying about the Christians and the whole bit. And I actually live in Canada, and however, I investigate most of them. And I can tell you for sure that I have personally seen those train cars you were talking about. And just down the road from me is a site where the U.S. are holding all those, I'm sure you've seen online there, all those black, large plastic coffins and things like that. Now, we know the U.S. government is funding ISIS and things like that. And of course, the ISIS and everything are beheading all the Christians. So I'm wondering, with evidence like that I know for a fact is real, how is it that we are not supposed to be worried about things like the Christian concentration camps and stuff?
Okay, so let's start back with your evidence. What evidence do you have that makes you 100% sure that what you see, or first of all, the pictures, and if you have pictures, why haven't you brought it to the media? I mean, tell me about this evidence that you have.
Well, I've actually seen the train cars. I went up and touched them. Because of this North American Union thing or whatever, the U.S. has a lot of things on our side of the border that they have. I've looked inside the train cars. I've seen where the people fit. I've seen the connections where you hook the cuffs and the leg chains to. I've also seen and touched these big plastic coffins. I actually got a picture here somewhere of me laying in one of them, and there's enough room to put 3 or 4 bodies in one.
Okay, so but let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and I'm going to give you. I'm not going to not yet. I'm going to give you some room to stretch and say what you're. How are you? Where are you getting the drawing the conclusion? Because there's quite a few train cars that I've gone up and touched. There are quite a few objects that can look like coffins that I've gone up and touched. What makes you draw the conclusion that these train cars that you've seen are for the purposes? Have you seen bodies in them?
No, but they are marked on the side of them. They have property of Homeland Security and then some numbers after it. Right,
but there's quite a bit of material that the government owns that can be used for any number of reasons. But let's go down this train of thought, right? Let's say they have these trains that look like they can carry bodies, right? Could they not also be carrying any number of things, including livestock? Could they not be carrying weapons? Could they not be carrying what makes you make the logical leap from here is a train that looks nefarious, right? I'm not gonna take away from the fact that they look intimidating or scary, but how do you make the logical leap and say that this is a train that is going to be used specifically for Christians? And then answer me this: how do you think that in the United States of America today you can get away with taking Christians and putting them in concentration camps when Christians, quite frankly, I am a Christian, we run a lot of stuff. We run a lot of TV stations. We run a lot of organizations. We make up the vast majority. So you would have to really take quite a bit more than 60-70% of the United States out of the United States. One thing, let me reassure you one thing. If nothing else, if there is a great evil, it is money. And there's no way in the world we are going, and I'm just going down this train of thought with you because I want to help you to see, there's no way in the world we are going to imprison and into concentration camps 70% of our population. Do you know what that would do to our economy? If there's one great evil, it is money, and it's our drive to keep money. We're not going to get rid of our population because of their beliefs. So help me to understand, how do you make a logical leap from seeing trains or seeing crates or seeing coffin type items and make the leap to say that, okay, these are specifically designed for Christians?
Okay, I cannot say that. I can say that I strongly believe they're meant for people in America,
okay,
and possibly people in Canada. I can't say 100% for Christians. Now, as far as your first question about the train cars, I don't believe they'll be used for livestock, just the way there's like built-in seats. They're like almost like, can you imagine 3 or 4 speed bumps kind of thing? So I don't think they could put that in there. And they've got the connections where, as I said, it's like a big U-clamp that you can open, and it appears that it attaches to the leg chains.
Well, let me ask you this question, because we're running short on time. Let me ask you an important question. Did you get pictures of it?
I've got a picture of me standing beside it, but
okay,
not on the inside.
But not on the inside. So here's the thing. If I put this challenge out to anyone, if you can bring concrete evidence, not just pictures on the inside. You do need to get pictures of the inside, right? For anyone to even start to hear your theory, you need to get evidence. But then you have to make the connection to say that this is intentionally going to be used for people. They're going to start hurting people. And then you have to overcome the one truth. There's one truth throughout American history. Everything is about money. How would taking a swath of the population, and if you think it's about Christians, then you're talking about 70% of the United States of America. How is that profitable for anyone to take the money, that much amount of out of the United States of America? If it's not profitable, they're not going to do it. There's nobody so committed to any ideology that more than money. So you have to draw you have to connect the dots. Now, there was one thing that you said that I definitely want to push back on. ISIS is not discriminating on their hatred, on their barbarism. Just this weekend, ISIS killed hundreds of Muslims. So it's not that ISIS is being funded by the United States for the purposes of killing Christians abroad. And I don't know if someone is telling you that, then you need to just ask them the question, why and where is the evidence? Why and where is the evidence? And if you believe that, then how do you answer the question of why are they killing so many Muslims too? I'm not defending ISIS. I think ISIS is a scourge that needs to be put down, but we cannot make ourselves fearful and make ourselves the personal victims when in actuality, they're going after everybody. They will kill a Muslim just as quickly as they would kill a Christian. I really appreciate your call, but I'm down to the last 5 minutes of the show, and I definitely want to get to some things. So I thank you for that call, but I challenge you. You're more than welcome to call back. I challenge you to call me with some evidence, some pictures, email them to me. And if and not just pictures, right? You got to go one step further. You have to make the logical connection of why, who, what, when, where, and how. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. People, and I'm not gonna dog him because he's and I think his name was Steve, and forgive me if I got your name wrong, but Steve from Canada really believes this. And he believes this because somebody has been feeding him this. Somebody has been pouring this into him for so long that now he sees a train, and he doesn't just see a train, he sees a cargo train, and he doesn't just see a cargo train, he sees concentration camp trains. Right? But Steve, when you follow the logical steps, you realize it falls apart. It falls apart when you realize what runs our world. Ideology is just the mechanism that they use to distract us and to keep us arguing with each other. But the people at the top, they have one ideology, and that's money. And if it's not profitable, they're not going to do it. That's one. Then two, how would they how would they practically, not even logically, how would they practically pull off interning hundreds of millions of people? I mean, we're talking about 70% of the population that are identified as Christian. And let's, even if you cut it down to the staunch Christians, let's go down to 30% to the diehard burn me at the stake Christians. How are they going to practically pull this off, not only logistically, but constitutionally? You have to understand, unless they blow up the Constitution, no one is coming after you. If they blow up the Constitution, which they're not, then you have a lot more to worry about than gay marriage. You have a lot more to worry about than who's sleeping with who. If they get rid of the First Amendment, then we have a problem that we all can unify and rally behind. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We can play, go to the logical extreme on anything, right? But in our lifetime, I will put money in, and I would be the first. I would be the first to pick up arms and fight beside you if it happened, and to bite my tongue, right? But it's not going to happen. Let's deal in reality. And if someone is sitting around feeding you things for you to be afraid of, but you cannot bring concrete evidence for it, and you can't, and it's just a suspicion, then they're really just manipulating you to keep you fearful of reality. And it's so easy to do. And that's what, you know why I'm not a preacher instead of a radio host, is because I cannot get off on manipulating people and making them fearful when I could just as easily make them empowered and see the truth. And the truth of the matter is, the Supreme Court decision on Friday is not going to hurt people of faith. It is going to help people of faith because it reaffirms your right to believe and teach and preach and live whatever you want to believe. And that's the bottom line. I didn't even get a chance to get to Bree Newsom, guys. I'm running out of time, but Bree Newsom, Wonder Woman, she scaled the polls over in South Carolina. She climbed up and took down the Confederate flag. Sadly, if I could just offer one thing that I wish she would have done, I think she was heroic. I think it was a beautiful scene. One thing I wish she would have done, I wish she would have set that thing on fire while she was up there, because as soon as she came down, they lifted the flag right back up. So we'll do some more. We might even do a special show on her and her her accomplice. It was a beautiful sight to see. I just want to encourage people, don't let organizations, don't let charlatans, don't let people like Joshua Feuerstein, Mike Huckabee, Fox News, Bill O'Reilly, don't let them make you fearful of life. Because if they make you fearful, then they control you. And that's exactly what they want. And everyone listening, you could hear the concern. And Steve didn't sound like a bad guy. Steve just sounded like a confused guy, a guy who was really been told these things. He's been listening to the wrong people. But You've tuned into the Benjamin Dixon Show. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if I'm wrong, I am so fast to admit that I'm wrong. But I'm not wrong on this, Steve. You can relax. You go take some pictures. Go ask some questions. Be an investigative journalist if you have to. But I guarantee you, once you unpack it and you confront your fear, you'll realize somebody's been lying to you all of this time. Folks, I got to go. We'll catch you next time.
And until that moment comes, when we, the Americans, are able to accept the fact that on that continent we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other, that I am not a ward of America. I am one of the people who built the country. Until this moment.
That we are brothers. It's not a question of Jews or Christians or Muslims. We're all in the same boat.
We need each other.
Love is a condition so powerful. It may be that which holds the stars in the firmament.
Until this moment.
Love.
Until this moment.
Love.
Until this moment.
I come to you today to say that we can build a newer and better nation. I say we can do so, that we must do so, and that we will do so.
You've tuned in to The Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at www.thebenjamindixonshow.com.
YouTube, thanks for hanging out with me this morning. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and bring some more people with you next time. All right, you guys have a great day. I am out of here. And of course,
oh my God, who the hell cares?